Hey guys, I'm back with another video. Honestly, I should have did a video like this a long time ago, but a lot of you in my comments are now just hitting 60 either on hardcore or dream scythe or in your mid 50s. And a lot of you have been asking, what dungeon should I farm? I'm feeling really overwhelmed. Like, what item should I be looking for first? I got you. I use this order for all of my warriors. I'm going to go list by list by list of what I farm in order to get my warrior DPS Warrior pre-bis. Now, a couple things to keep in mind. This is for hardcore players and PvE Andes like myself. Obviously, this would be a 5-second video. I would just say go rank. So we're not doing any PvP here, just hardcore or PvE Andes. I'm only asking you to buy one thing. So all of the other items you can get from being farmed, you will get hit cap from this gear, regardless if you are orc or undead. So 9% hit or the 6. This video will help you. I gotcha. Let's go ahead and get started. So if you are a Horde player, now this video also works for Alliance, but if you're a Horde, what I want you to do is I want you to start with the Hinterlands Elite quests. You go get them at the village, Raventusk Village in Hinterlands. It gives you 2 items that will jumpstart your pre-bis or your gear hunting grind. And that begins with Rune of the Guard Captain and then your neck, which is the Woven Ivy necklace. Now, again, we are starting this video like you are a mid-50s warrior and you're looking for gear to grab. So obviously the Woven Ivy necklace will be replaced by your Ford Ring or the Ogre Bead War necklace later on. But we are looking at this from I'm a mid-level 50 warrior. Where do I start? This is where you start. Your Hinterlands Elites, you grab the Rune of the Guard Captain, you grab Woven Ivy necklace. Once you have those, your next farm is going to be your Blackstone ring, which is princess runs. Now on Dream Scythe, it's a lot easier to farm these than on hardcore, because on hardcore, you can only do 1 reset until you're level 60. So if you are a hardcore player and you want to put off the Blackstone ring until you're 60, so it's easier to farm, that's fine. But honestly, if you're a hardcore player and you're in your mid 50s or just 50s or even low or high 40s, like you should be doing at least 1 reset a day, trying to get this Blackstone ring. I would 3-man this. I would 4-man it with just me, another tank, and a shaman. You should always be trying to get Blackstone ring. So that is your next one for me, and especially on the Dream Scythe, the PvE server, you can just farm this as much as you want. So I go my Hinterlands Elite quests, and then I grab my Blackstone ring. After that, I go to LBRS. I live in LBRS. You get great XP in a hardcore situation at 3 boss spam. So you're killing Omok, you're killing the troll chick, and you're killing Voon. You get crazy good XP in hardcore, and I'm sure you get pretty decent XP in PvE Dream Scythe as well. Now, why you're doing a 3 boss farm is very simple. There's 3 to 4 items right away that will improve your DPS that you can have before you are even level 55. And let's go over them. First are the Risks of Valor. Now, this drops off of trash. So this is purely RNG, but they also do not cost much in the auction house. So if you want to flat out buy them, and then if you want to turn them into 0.5 immediately, you can. But the Braces of Valor drop off the trash right when you enter Lower Blackrock or Upper Blackrock Spire. Your next one is the Waste, which actually drops off of Omok and is also a BOE. Now, this one costs a lot of money, so I would just keep farming that 3 boss spam like I'm talking about. On Omok, he drops the Belt of Valor. So already, you are a mid-50s warrior. You got Guard Captain, Ivy Necklace, and 2 Set of Valor, which has 200 armor. That's huge for you. Huge. Now, why else we do Lower Blackrock Spire is because of Riven Spike. Now, Riven Spike is a great weapon that you can use at level 53. And if you have a priest with you, he can actually mind vision the mobs and go down the line and see if you have Butcher. So essentially, you can fish out this boss. And we're going to talk about fishing out bosses because we're going to do the same thing for UD Strat later on in this video. You can essentially fish Riven Spike out. You have the priest mind vision the mobs. He goes down the line and he sees if the rare spawn Butcher. Now the rare spawn Butcher, it goes right along with the 3 boss spam because he is right before Omok, your very first boss in Lower Blackrock Spire. So if you can get Riven Spike, Not only is it huge for Orc, but it comes with an armor debuff that actually has a really good proc chance, and you can use it in your raid or your group, and it will stack with Sunder Armor, and it's a great, great, great axe to start with. 2.9 attack speed, good for all races. This is a great weapon. Now, the last thing you could possibly get out of this 3 boss farm, which has an insanely low drop rate, and we'll talk about other options in a bit here, is Black Crow, which gives you 1 of your percent hit. So now you're already rocking 2% hit, you're in your mid 50s, and look at that, you're actually looking pretty solid off the rip in your mid 50s. So that's why I farm lower Blackrock Spire. First we do Hinterlands Elites, then we do Mara Princess runs, and then we do our lower Blackrock Spire 3 boss farm. After that, this is the only items I'm going to tell you to buy is your Devilsaur. Now I've went server to server to server from Night Slayer to Dream Scythe to Doomhowl. Now obviously on Doomhowl it costs about 70 G's for the set. Dream Scythe is a little more expensive, and Night Slayer is the most expensive. Now on Night Slayer, I would assume you're probably not really using this much, especially if you're doing open world PvP. But in a PvE standpoint, which is what this video is about, Devilsaur is massive for you. So let's go ahead and grab that. You're getting about 60 AP combined, the 2% hit set bonus, and you're also getting 2% crit. This is perfect for a DPS warrior. Obviously, there's going to be a couple people like, well, I don't like wearing leather in hardcore because I need plate. Well, if you're doing your job right as a DPS warrior, you really shouldn't be taking damage anyways, right? So this is a great set. So again, you're in your mid 50s right now, and look how you're looking. You look fantastic. You got Woven Ivy Necklace, Guard Captain, potentially Black Crow, Riven Spike, and 2-piece Valor with the 2-piece Devilsaur set. So you are already rocking 4% hit. That's huge. You're essentially halfway if you're non-orc, right? So huge. Now, after I grab my Devilsaur, now I look at BRD. Now, obviously you have Dream Scythe. You can farm SGC if you want, a lot easier than hardcore. But in hardcore, you only get 1 reset. So I'm going to suggest the Chest of 7 runs, because that actually gets you some opportunities at Hand of Justice. So let's put in Hand of Justice. And then you also have a chance at not only SGC, but you also have a chance at Death Dealer. Now again, Death Dealer, you can use at level 52. 2% crit with 8 strength, that's 16 AP. That's huge. And it's a Chest of 7 run, which are pretty safe in hardcore situations pre-60. So if you can get Death Dealer off of that Chest of 7 run, you are looking great. Now, we go from LBRS to your Devilsaur to BRD to Upper Blackrock Spire. More importantly, rend runs. Now, before I talk about Upper Blackrock Spire, you can do DME's jump runs to get your Satyr's Bow if you need it. If you didn't get Black Crow, before you do Upper Blackrock Spire, do DME's jump runs to grab your Satyr's Bow. So let's just say you had to do that. You couldn't get Black Crow. I don't blame you. The drop rate is horrible. You get Satyr's Bow instead. So now we're looking at Upper Blackrock Spire rend runs. Now, I talked about lower Blackrock Spire earlier because eventually you're going to have to do a full run for your Oneatune if you're Horde, and you actually get some pretty decent pieces that I'm not really going to talk about right now. But eventually you're going to have to do a full run anyway, so you should be on your next step for the Oneatune, which is getting the Rend Head, and that gives you the 2% crit trinket. So we're going to talk about that in just a second. But why I'm looking at rend runs is very simple. Valor Shoulders. Valor Shoulders off a rend. The drop rate's not terrible, and rend runs are spammable. You can also, instead of Valor, maybe you can get True Strike. And then only that, not only the 2% trinket, Black End's Breath, which gives you 2% crit, you also have the Eye of Rend, which is another 2% crit. So this is a warrior right now that you're looking at that is not even level 60. That is insanely geared already, right? So this guy is probably about, by the time you start farming some of these, you're getting good XP on hardcore especially. You're like 57, 58, 59. And you can get away with doing rend runs, especially in a guild, on hardcore or Dream Scythe at 57, 58, 59. So you're looking fantastic already. Not even 60 yet, right? So let's say you don't have Hodge yet. You couldn't get Hodge off of those runs, and I can't blame you because you're hardcore. You can only do one at a time. If you're not 60, one run every 24 hours. So let's say you have Blackhand's Breath instead. So you have Guard Captain, which is a hit, and Blackhand's Breath. Now let's go over our hit again. You have 1, 2, and then 4, 5 from the ring. So you have 5% hit already. If you are an orc, you only need 1% more hit if you get an offhand with an axe. And we're going to talk about that in a second. So after Upper Blackrock Spire, our next mission is obviously either hitting 59 or hitting 60, right? Because now you are going to look at Undead Strat. And this is exactly why I was just talking about fishing out rares, because you want a priest to fish out Stone Spine. Now, why you want Stone Spine is because he has a cloak. And obviously there is the Baron Cape in there, but I also like Stone Skinned Cape. And you have a more realistic chance of getting this cape than getting the one off of Baron, because you can have a priest mind vision mobs to see if Stone Spine is in there. So you can essentially use 5 resets to fish him out to get this cape. 8 agility, 7 strength, 14 stamina. You only have to be level 56. You throw 3 agi on that, you're getting a half percentage of crit on that with 14 AP and 14 stamina. That's a big, big cape that you can essentially get pre-60 or right at 60. Now, if you go to the left side of Undead, if you need the hit, now this goes for Orc or this goes for non-Orc where you need 9%, guess what? You can farm the mask, right? The mask off the Unforgiven. So now you get a crit. So you lose 1 crit from Iron, but you pick up 2% hit. So let's go over our hit right now. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. You have 7% hit and you just hit 60. You are looking fantastic. And now the last item we're looking for potentially, if you're Orc, is the Bone Slicing Hatchet, which is also an UD strat. So you just got 3 pieces off a UD strat. Maybe it took you a while to farm, but if you're level 60, you can keep rerunning it. So now this is where we're getting to our point where you can start rerunning these dungeons. So look at us right now. We have Unforgiven, Ivy, Valor, Stone Skin, Death Dealer, Bracers of Valor, Riven Spike, Bone Slicing, Satyrs, Guard Captain, Blackhand's Breath, Blackstone, Devilsaur Set, and Belt of Valor. We have barely put any money into this character just for the Devilsaur set. And we are looking fantastic. And you just hit 60. You're looking great. So now for your feat, what I recommend here is you do a Kirtano spam, which is the very first gargoyle boss in Scholomance. Now, something to keep in mind is if you don't do the Skolo chain, you cannot get the blood to drop off the succubus in the very beginning of the dungeon. So you'll need to have someone that has either completed the quest so they can farm the blood. So that way you can spam Kirtanos. Now, what we're looking off of Kirtanos is the Wind Reaver Greaves. 20 agility, 1% hit. 20 agility is a 1% crit for warriors. So essentially these boots give you 1% crit, 1% hit. Now, obviously in hardcore, they're male and they're no stamina, so it can be a little sketchy. But again, if you are not playing, if you are taking a lot of damage as a DPS warrior, you are just not doing your job right. You're not utilizing lips. You're not taking care of yourself. You're putting yourself at risk. You shouldn't be doing that, right? So again, 1% hit. We are now at 8% hit. So that means we only need 1% hit, and you don't even have to use these anymore. You could use the Dalren set. You could use, whatever. And guess what? You didn't even have to use Edge Masters. You didn't have to spend 1,600 gold on Edge Masters. And then, your last ring, your very last piece is going to be the Tarnished Elven Ring from DM North Tribute, which gives you the 1% hit. And you can also, when you get to DM North, you can swap out this chest piece for the Ogre Forged Hauberk, which is a little better than that one. 20 agility, which is 1% crit. So you're getting 2% crit off of that. You're getting a little strength and a little more stamina. So look at your character right now. Let's check the hit so that you can actually use this video if you're not Orc. So I'm not just talking out of my butt here. 2% hit. So you're looking at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Devilsaur set 9. 9% hit. So this video can be used for other classes other than Orc. I use this rotation all the time for my warriors. I get the same exact gear, 360 or right at 60, I'm looking fantastic off the rip. And then I can really start hunting other pieces of gear from upper Blackrock, such as Painweaver Band or any other items along those lines. I hope this video helped. I appreciate you guys watching the videos and supporting the channel. I will see you guys another time.